Okay.
Okay. Good morning, class. How are you? Tired? Yes. Everything okay?
Fine.
Yeah. Okay. Once again, my name is Jernej, and today we are doing motion analysis. Okay?
Yes.
So, when you hear that you have a lecture in motion analysis, what do you think it's going to be about? And what is actually motion analysis? What is motion analysis? Why do we need it? Any ideas? What can we do with motion analysis if we analyze the motion? So basically, motion analysis is in-depth analysis of motion, yeah? And we use it, let's say in general, as a further development of the wording of the motion. So we develop the meaning of the motion in general, yeah? In specifics. So if we say, okay, motion analysis, yeah? So we have in general we develop the concepts of the motion, which means we have to somehow define the words in the motion. Yeah? Okay? In specifics, motion analysis means specific it can be used for the definition of the motion, okay? So the definition of the motion, you have to define what are you going to be talking about and how the motion is going to be used by your side. Yeah? Okay? So this is as the definition. The second one is you have to have burden of proof. Okay? Burden of proof. Yeah? What is burden of proof? Yes. So what is a burden that our side needs to prove in this debate? So you have to be clear on that, yeah? In the debate. You have to give yourself a burden. So our side needs to prove this and this in this debate. Okay? So you use motion analysis to establish the burden of proof. Okay? I will show you later how you can do it. Okay? For example, one of the most common mistakes that the side opposition can make is just to rebuttal the side proposition, but not referring to the motion in general. Okay? This is the most common mistake of the side opposition. Do you understand me? Yeah? So you have to always refer, because if you are only referring to the side proposition, but not to the motion in general, you look like you don't have any of your own ideas, and you are just reproducing or rebutting the side proposition, and you are not bringing anything new in the debate. So you always have to motion analysis. So this is why you have to establish this burden of proof. Yeah. So on the side opposition, our burden of proof is this and this. Do you understand me? So you have to always refer to the motion in general. Don't forget that. Not just if you are the opposition, not just to the side proposition. Okay? Okay. Then, third, we can use motion analysis for creating or to create new arguments. Now, and last one. So creating new arguments means I will show you some of the ways that can help you to establish as many arguments as possible. Yeah, I will show you some ways that can help you. Yeah, because, for example, if you are a side proposition, you will need, and this is motion analysis. The last point of my lecture will be how to use motion analysis for specific strategies. Okay, specific strategies. Now, when talking about arguments and motion analysis and specific strategies, so usually it goes like this. If you're a side proposition, you need to have less arguments but better developed arguments. Yeah? On side opposition, or let's say on the first tables, not proposition opposition. So the first tables, they need to have this better developed but less arguments. The second tables, they need to create a lot of arguments. Why? The second tables.
In case the arguments were used by the first table.
Once again.
In case of the arguments were used previously.
Yes. Because second tables always, they have to bring some new materials in, and then they don't actually know what the first tables will bring out. Yeah? So they need a lot of arguments. They have to come up with a lot of arguments. On the other hand, the first tables need to establish fewer arguments, but they need to be really good developed. Okay? So this is how you use motion analysis for strategy. Whether you are the first table or you are the second table. Okay? Now we will go through all 4 points. And this is going to be my lecture. Okay? First one, how to use motion analysis for defining the motion. So first you have to what? What do we have to do first? Read the motion. You have to read the motion. And don't forget, you have to read it constantly. Because sometimes in between you forget what the motion actually is about. So you have to read it many times during your prep time. Okay? Don't forget it. So you have to read the motion. Then you have to identify the main words in the motion. Yeah? So, and specifically, you have to think about the words that could be unclear. And then, the last thing, when you are defining the motion, you have to put yourself in the position of the other side. What would the other side think of this word? How would they define on the side, I don't know, if you are a proposition, how would the side opposition define this word for their case? Okay? You always have to think both sides when you are preparing, okay? And defining the motion, okay? And of course, you don't give, I don't know, you are giving the definitions that can be acceptable, yeah? You don't define, I don't know, some wording in the motion in a way that would be completely unuseful for the other side, yeah? So the definition must be, okay, acceptable for everybody, yeah? Okay? Okay, this is how to use motion analysis for definition, yeah? You have to work on that, the words and so on. Now, the second thing is burden of proof. Now, when we are talking about burden of proof, we already established that we need to put some burden on our side and say, okay, this is our burden of proof. This is what we need to prove. Yeah? So you need to find, in the motion, you need to find some, let's say, action words that proposes action words. Okay, yeah. Action words. Yeah? So the action words usually proposes something new. Yeah? So we are establishing a new model, or we are doing something legal when it was illegal before, or something like that. So you need to find this action words. Yeah? And then you have to decide, yeah? So, and then you have to define it. And this is where usually we come to our burden of proof. Yeah? When we define this action word, and this is what we have to prove, that this will work. Yeah? This is our burden of proof. Okay? Now, the next thing we have to do when we are establishing the burden of proof is to think of the types of the motion. So the types of the motion. Okay, are you still with me?
Yes.
Is everything clear up to now? So if you have any questions, please raise your hand, just ask, or even don't raise your hand if the questions come up one by one, not by everybody at the same time. Okay? Now, types of the motion. We know 3 types of the motion. Yeah? First type of the motion is motion on facts. Motions of facts, let's say, because there are many. The second type, okay, then we should elaborate a bit on this. Motion on facts are motions that can refer to something in the past. They can refer to something in present, or they can refer on something in the future. Huh? In the past, Shakespeare was a better, this house believes that Shakespeare was a better poet than Federico Garcia Lorca. Do you know him? No? Spanish poet, sorry. I don't know any Chinese poets, but do you know Shakespeare?
Yes.
Okay, so, do you understand? So, this is something that happened in the past. Yeah? Or, I don't know, French Revolution was more important than, I don't know, Industrial Revolution. Okay? So, we are discussing about the facts in the past. Okay? And our burden of proof here is what? It's really simple. Just defining the word, which one? If it's more important, or it was a better poet than blah blah blah. Which word do we have to define?
More important.
More important or better. Yeah? So this is how we define it. So we can do it in many ways. You can just show me that better means better consequences for the society, or I don't know, better lyrics when we are discussing about poetry and so on and so on. Yeah? So it's up to you. But this is actually, with motions on facts, it's pretty easy to establish the burden of proof, because you just have to prove that one is better compared to another. So motion on present, it refers something in which is going on now, today. Okay? And motions on future are usually motions that are predicting something in the future. Yeah? So they're based on the facts in present, but they're predicting. So this house believes this will cause, I don't know, many problems in the future. Okay? This would be the motion on fact referring to the future. Do you understand me? Everybody? For sure? Any questions so far? No. Everything clear. Okay. So this is the first type of the motion. Okay? Now the second type are they have different names, but we will call them just policy motions. Or motions
motion. Policy motion. Any volunteer? Come on.
The house will ban.
Okay, and can you tell me one motion that would be a policy motion?
This house will ban smoking.
Okay, this house would ban smoking. Perfectly. This is a policy motion. Yeah? Why is it a policy motion? Because policy motion always needs a plan. You need a plan how to establish this new policy. So you're bringing something new that's not been existing before. So you're bringing a new model. Yeah? And you have to present this kind of model. And now, you said, yeah, let's do it with smoking. So how do we, so everybody understands what is a policy motion? Yeah? Okay. So how do we establish burden of proof in policy motions? Okay? Can I? Yeah. So, burden of proof in policy motion. So first step is to we have to identify the problem. So what is the problem, and we have to address it. For example, with banning smoking, what is the problem with current position or with status quo position? What is the problem? Many people exercise. Elaborate. Many people smoke, therefore it's so smoking
Is common.
is harmful for our health. Do you understand me? Because if you just say, okay, many people smoke, yes, we know that, but many people eat. I mean, many people breathe. Okay? Yeah? So you have to elaborate furthermore. Yeah? You have to think, what does smoking brings that harms people, society, and so on. Yeah? Okay? So you have a problem. Yeah? And the problem is that smoking is what? Harmful, and it's legal. Legal. We can do it. Yeah? Okay? And this is the burden. So how do we establish now our burden of proof? So first, we have a problem that we establish. Yeah? And then, for example, then you have to bring something else up. For example, we are trying to prohibit smoking because, I don't know, it brings disease, it brings, I don't know, bad consequences even for non-smokers, passive smokers, and so on and so on. Then the second thing, we have to identify, so first step is to identify the problem. The second step is to identify or to show a model or a plan. How are you going to do it? First of all, you have to establish who is going to do it, and those two are the most important questions when you are establishing the plan. How are we going to do it? Yeah? Now, this is how you create a burden of proof for policy motion. Yeah? So, who is going to do it and how is going to do it? Yeah? So, if you ban smoking, who was ban smoking? Who is responsible? Who has the legitimacy to ban smoking? Yeah? And how is this, I don't know, person, I don't know, leader, whether it's a government, whatever, how it's going to be done? Yeah? Okay? So you need to have a plan. Now, the third part of burden of proof in policy motions are, of course, arguments. So, arguments. Now, arguments can be, let's say, this is only for your help. Yeah? Two types of arguments. Yeah? So, first type, let's say A1, can be legitimacy. Legitimacy arguments. What do we establish with legitimacy arguments? We establish, first thing, is the problem a legitimate one? Yeah? Okay? Is the problem we are discussing a legitimate one? Okay?
It's legal now or
It's not legal. Legitimacy means that justified, I would say. Is it justified? For example, we have a government. So legitimate government is the government that is justified by the people. People feel that, okay, this should be our government and it's there because we, I don't know, elected it. Or we feel it's right, it's there. This is a legitimate government. Government, for example, government is not legitimate, I don't know, when people are forced to do something or are oppressed all the time, or people feel, okay, this is not our government. Do you understand the difference? So this is, the legitimacy is, yeah, if something is justifiable by majority of the people. Okay? Do you understand? The in terms of smoking, if your plan, so you need to understand, is it a legit way that, for example, you say government will ban, you say government who will ban smoking, government should ban smoking. Now you have to think how it's going to do it, and in the argument you have to think, is it legitimate that government bans smoking? Why is this question here important? Because you see, when I smoke as me, as Jernej, as a person in my home, in my private life. So the question is, does the government have the right to interfere in my private life? And the legitimacy of this argument, yes, they have the right. Why? Because the only concern of every and each government is to take care of its people. And when my government is banning smoking, it's protecting me from myself. Do you understand me? So that's why this is legitimate, to ban smoking. Do you understand? Or no? So, no? Not that clear? Yeah? Yeah, of course. Who? Yeah? This is, you have to explain here, if you're using the government is doing it, you have to explain the role of the government here. Yeah? Yeah? And then you say, okay, it's legitimate because government is protecting me. That's why the government has every right, yeah, to interfere in my private life. Yeah? Because this is the job of the government. Are we all clear on that? On the same side? Yeah? So, the legitimacy. Any questions? So is the problem a legitimate one? And most importantly here, with legitimacy, you always have to establish, let's say, value, some value by which you decided that this problem is a legitimate one. What would be the value with banning smoking? What do you think? Public health.
Freedom of choice.
Yeah, but on the side, proposition, freedom of choice. Opposition, yeah? You meant opposition, yeah? Okay. On the side, opposition would be, yes, I have freedom of choice. I can smoke, I can kill myself. No government has the value on the side proposition, the value will be probably different. It's, I don't know, common health, it's, I don't know, do you understand? So you need to establish a common value, yeah, and establish it among, so within this legitimacy argument. Okay? Do you understand? Yeah, everything? Okay. Now, this is now the first type of arguments can be like legitimacy arguments. Yeah? The second type, of arguments are usually, so when you have this policy motions, are usually, the name would be, let's say, good consequences argument. So arguments that bring good consequences of this plan. Okay? So good consequences of the plan. So now we have to, so this is the second type of the arguments that are used in policy motions. You have to bring out some positive things that this plan will bring when if we are establishing this plan. Okay? Do you understand that? So what would be some positive outcomes if we ban smoking, for example? Come on.
Healthier lifestyle.
Healthier lifestyle. What else?
Create a better atmosphere.
Better, so it's better for the environment, for sure. What else?
Lessen the burden of count. Lessen the burden.
Louder.
To decrease the burden of the count.
Okay, to decrease the, okay, cool. What else? Less?
Decrease the financial burden of
Okay, even that, and less disease. Yeah? Less disease. Okay, that's it. Okay, now these are the motions, policy motions. Yeah? And this is how you establish burden of proof. So I need to prove what? How is this plan going to work, and what will be the better consequences than the status quo right now. So I have to prove that my plan will change the status quo with some better consequences than we are facing right now. Do you understand? Okay, this is basically, this is how the policy motion looks. Okay? Let's move on. Yeah. Now, the third type of motion is actually burden of proof in, and this is the third type of motions, in value motions or value debate. So, value motions. So, the first step, when you have a value motion, so what is a value motion?
Something is right or wrong.
Yes, when we are discussing when something is right or wrong, and something is more moral than something else, so this is when we are deciding which value in the motion is more important. Yeah? Okay? For example, economical growth is more important than environmental issues. Okay? This would be motion on the value motion. Yeah? Okay? We are having like two values and we have to decide which one is better. Yeah? Now, how to establish burden of proof in such a motion? So, first of all, we have to identify the criterion. So, the criterion the criterion by which debate should be judged. Yeah? For example, love is better than sex. Okay? What is the word here, the criterion? Which word here is the criterion? Better. Yeah? And this is the criterion you want my debate to be judged. Yeah? Okay. And now you have to establish what means to be better. Yeah? What is better? Okay? In this motion, what can be better? Love is better than having sex.
Happiness.
Happiness. What else? More feelings, let's say. And then you have to establish, all the time you have to establish why are feelings more important than some physical stuff or something like that. Yeah? Okay? So you have to remind me as a judge all the time what does this better means, and you have to prove me that it's this better really is better. Okay? So you need to focus on that criterion. Yeah? So this is the first step. And the second step of how to establish burden of proof here is to create, of course, what? Arguments. Okay? Arguments. Okay? Now, okay, any questions so far? Is everything clear? Yes or no? Okay. Wakey, wakey. Come on. Yeah. Now, arguments. So you can make, like, let's say, two types of arguments which are very similar to policy motion. First type of argument is if you have a criterion, legitimacy of criterion. You have to establish why is the criterion by which you decided this debate should be judged the right one. Yeah? Why is the criterion by which you decided this debate should be judged by the right one? Okay? For example, if you decide on the motion that we were talking about, if you decide, I have an example here, if you decide that happiness is expressed as true love and not physical pleasure, then tell me why is this always true? Okay? You have to explain me, why is this always true? That I'm more happy when having, I don't know, feelings than having this physical pleasure. Okay? This is what you need to establish. Are you with me or not? Yes? Okay. And then, so this is legitimacy of criterion. Yeah? So why is my criterion legit? Yeah? Why can I establish this criterion for happiness? Okay? That's it. And the second, let's say, this is A1. The second type of arguments can be, let's call them specific points of comparison. Specific points of comparison. Yeah? Okay? Now you have to compare. This is the argument when you make, I don't know, for the previous motion, love is better than sex, or sex is better than love. We can do it either way, because I don't know, why would be sex better? It always allows me freedom, it makes me experience more people, it makes me know more people, so whatever you decide on that one, yeah? So why is love better? Always, so compare the situation, okay? Compare it with why is better this way, not the other way. You have, so this is the argument of comparison. Yeah? Of course you do it in every kind of motion. You do it when you're talking about, I don't know, economy and environment. Yeah? Why is environment more important than economy? Yeah? You have to compare. Yeah? So this is an argument where you directly compare economy to ecology, let's say. Yeah? Okay? Everything clear? Okay. Now, before that, now we have like 3 types of motion, once again. And we said, when we need to establish burden of proof, we need to establish a type of motion. So, can anybody repeat all 3 types of the motion? Motions of value, policy, and fact. Okay? Will you know? So, motions on facts are really easy. Yeah? But sometimes motions can be, you know, there are motions that, you know, can be and value and motions on facts. So it can be both. Yeah? Okay? So be careful, and it's up to you how you will understand the motion. Because sometimes it happens that the side proposition comes up and says, okay, this motion really is a motion of plan, but we understand it as a motion of value. Yeah? And we will do our case on values. Okay, do you understand me? Yeah? We won't establish any plan because we don't understand this motion. The side proposition doesn't understand this motion as a policy motion. We understand it as a value motion. Okay? So it's up to you, because motions can be, you know, defined, some motions can be defined differently. So it's up to you, it's up to your strategy what you will do with the motion. Okay? Okay, now let's say we have those 3 types of motions. You will do that we will do that in exercises. So you will try to recognize which motion is on one, whether it is value, policy, or motion on fact. Okay? Now, this is how to establish. Now, we actually use motion analysis for the definition of the motion. Now, we use motion analysis for establish the burden of proof of the motion. Okay? And now we go to the third point. So we use motion analysis to create new arguments. So this is now the third point we need to discuss. So how to use motion analysis to establish new arguments. Now, as I was saying before, this is important in BP format, this is important for both sides and both tables. But especially if you are the first table, I was already telling you that, you will need few arguments or less arguments, and they have to be really good, elaborated and developed. Yeah? Really in-depth analysis. If you are the second table, then you will need a lot of arguments which of course cannot be so elaborated, but still you need a lot of points because you don't know what the first tables are going to bring up. So you need to be prepared. And here are some, let's call them heuristics, some models to help you how to think when creating arguments. Okay? So now, we are doing the third point, yeah? Using motion analysis to create arguments. Okay? And first model is so-called actor-agent model. Okay? Actor-agent model. Now this is just something for you to help you when creating arguments, yeah? This actor-agent model has like two dimensions, yeah? We have the actor. The first dimension is the actor, which executes the motion. So the actor, which I will show you on an example. Let's say smoking is a perfect example when we do something like that. This actor can be a person, can be an institution, can be a document. Yeah. Okay. Who is going to ban smoking? You understand? This is an actor. Actor which executes. So who is going to execute the motion? Who is going to do this thing in the motion? So who is going to ban smoking? Yeah? Who will be the actor of this act? Okay? Yes or no? Are you with me? Okay. Of course, we have always we have to think about direct, indirect. I will show you that on model. The second level is the actor, the policy is executed upon. So executed upon. Now I will show you the model of those two phases by banning smoking. Yeah? So you will see this actor-agent model. What can you do when you are developing the arguments? Yeah? Now we are banning smoking, and we have here, and again it's let's say direct, indirect. So this second part is who is going to feel the consequences of the act made at the first step. So this is me. That when I'm not allowed smoking anymore because they prohibited smoking for me. Okay? Do you understand me? Okay, this is the second part. Now we have one, two, three, four. Okay. We have here active part and passive part. Okay? Now I will just go through. Now the active part. So who is going to? So now we have the first one is direct. Who is going to do it? The government, the state. Yeah? So we have the government, the state. Who else? The police, for example. Direct. Indirect. I don't know. Influence. some institutions, for example, teachers in the school saying you're not allowed to smoke here anymore. So it's indirect. You know? They're not the executors, but still indirect. They're executing some law. Okay? So let's say the teachers, the workers at the restaurant, and so on and so on. Okay? So this is indirect, but still active. Okay? Now we have the passive side. Now we go to this. The actor, the policy is executed upon. Okay? And we have directly, direct, or directly, I don't know. For example, businessmen that are looking for, because now it's forbidden in the cafes, and they are looking for these holes in between, how to establish still, I don't know, a smoking loft somewhere in the garden or whatever. Yeah? So, do you understand? Yes or no? For sure? Louder.
Yes.
Okay. Indirect would be who? Children whose parents are smokers, passive smokers. Yeah? Do you understand? Would be here indirect. Yeah? So passive smokers. Or let's say, I don't know. Now, do you understand this, what we did right now with this let's ban smoking? So we established, and you can do it with every motion. You're banning something, do it like this. And now you have actually 4 what? Arguments. You understand? You have here 4 arguments. The legitimacy. Who is going to do it? So, who is going to do it? The government. Why is it legitimate here? Yeah? Why this should be the executors of that action. And here you have the consequences of that action. Do you understand how to do this model? How to create arguments or no? Yeah? So here you have, let's say, who is going to do it, why, and in what way. So by police, by I don't know, blah blah blah. And here are direct and indirect consequences, okay, of that action. And you have like 4 proper arguments here. This is just to help you when you are doing the motion analysis. Okay? Everything here on this is called actor-agent model. Yeah? So this is just to help you create arguments. Yeah? Okay? Are we clear on that model? Okay, let's move on. Second help that I can give you is so-called with motion analysis. It's very similar to this one, but a slightly different because it's used in motions on international relations. When we are talking about international relations, here is one, let's say, heuristic that can help you. It's called concentric circles. Concentric circles. Yeah? Now, when we are talking about international relations and some conflicts and so on, you can use this model. Yeah? And there are 4, let's say 4 general levels. 4 levels. First level is local. I don't know. You have some local conflicts. Yeah, some local, I don't know, killings, some local murders, and you want to discuss about. Then the second one is the state level. The state level, yeah? The state level. I don't know, the state level would be the government versus, I don't know, the rebels or, you know, the civil disobedience or something like that. Okay? The third one would be regional. I don't know, the state and some parts of the country, or the state and some neighborhoods, yeah, in the cities and so on. So this is the regional level, yeah? And fourth is international level. International level. International level is how does this conflict imply in the international relations, yeah? Now, why do we use this model in this kind of motions? Because it's similar to, like I said, to actor-agent model, because first we have to identify the actor, yeah? First, and then we have to identify the criterion. Is it? Are we ready?
45 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, and this is the second advice how to do this, let's say, motion in international relations. Okay? I obviously have to finish. I hope this was okay for you, helpful, and think of the three types of emotion and the burden of proof. So, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, go immediately to your exercise group.
Yeah.
Hurry. Immediately. No delay. You're wasting valuable learning time. And then come right back here for the practice debate. We'll have the practice debate immediately. If your partner is not going to be here or your team's not going to be here, tell me. You are B206. You are in A218. Go to the rooms you were in previously. You're always in the same exercise group room.